Hi, everybody. I'm Amanda. This is Kevin
Hi there.
with A. Smith Gallery, and we're here today to talk to Megan Hatch about her body of work, Here We Be. Megan received the Jurors Award in our Common Objects Juror exhibition way back last year. Doug Beasley was the juror, and the name of the image was A Ladder to the Sky. And Kevin is going to read.
Well, let's say hi to Megan.
Hi, Megan. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome to you.
Thank you both so much for having me here.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Thank you very much for doing this.
Yeah,
We'll read your bio if that's okay.
absolutely.
Megan Hatch is a multidisciplinary artist and curator living in Portland, Oregon. She is a recent recipient of the Julia Margaret Cameron Award for Women Photographers 2023 and a Critical Mass finalist 2022. Her work has been exhibited internationally and is in collections both private and corporate. I've loved making art my entire life. As a budding photographer, the tool I had at hand was a disposable camera, and I waited with breathless anticipation for the prints to show up in the mail. I eventually graduated to a film camera, and my hands still remember the satisfying click of the shutter release. Today, I work in a digital format, and the childhood thrill remains. Regardless of medium or discipline, the arts are powerful. The joy I experience as an artist is why I'm here today. It's seen me through. After earning a BA in studio art from Carleton College, I've spent many years creating work, teaching art in communal spaces, and curating exhibitions in sometimes non-traditional, environments. My experiences of growing up rural, working class, and queer created a deep desire to help make the arts accessible to a broader range of folks than typically find themselves, or at least comfortably so, in mainstream spaces. I can't not make art. I know deep down that art is essential to our collective thriving. It's how we're going to find our way. You're a great writer too.
Thank you.
That quote is dynamite.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
At the very end.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that a lot.
Thank you so much.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in southern Minnesota.
Ah,
Yep, just above the Iowa line.
and is that farm country?
Farm country, absolutely. Yep. My dad's side of the family had lived there for many generations. And so I was born actually out in California. That's where my mom is from, but we moved back to Minnesota when I was real young and lived there until I went off to college.
Wow. Well, cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine how that would make an impression, right? So it's
Oh
a
my
different
God.
experience than living in a suburban area,
Absolutely. Urban, suburban. Yeah. And it makes an impression in all the ways, right? Like there are pieces of that experience that I carry with me that taught me what beauty was.
Right.
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 And then there are pieces of that experience that were harder.
Right. Right.
You know,
but it all ends up in the art somehow, right?
It does.
Yeah.
It really does. It's true. It's
Yeah.
true. Actually, not many, some of the images from this series are from Minnesota. There's one in particular that's of a field looking out off of my grandparents' farm. They lived about an hour or so away. And we went over there almost every Sunday, looking out over the fields. There's a photograph in this series from that land.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, would you mind reading your artist statement for us?
Well, why don't you share?
I'd love to.
Yeah, let me start the images and we'll do that.
All right.
Yeah.
There we go. Looks like it's starting up.
That's the first one. Yeah.
There it is. That's my grandma's hand, by the way.
Wow, that's wonderful.
So this series is entitled Here We Be. And I write, according to the Oxford English Dictionary, hope can be defined as a feeling of trust. In the past, I've described hope as my superpower. It's a sinewy hope we're talking about. I grew up rural, queer, and too quiet about what hurt. Now I'm finding that sometimes you have to leave hope behind. For instance, I will never carry a child in my body. I feel betrayed, not by my body, but by hope. How can you give up and carry on at the same time? As I started exploring this question, I found myself working with images that quite unexpectedly reminded me of the months after my mother passed. It turns out that the heart of my question and of this body of work is grieving. In my experience, grieving is the way in which you find yourself anew in a place that is also radically altered. Getting there often involves looking for a way out, looking for the thing you lost, and or just lying on the floor weeping because the pull of gravity is too much. You come undone and pass through days like a ghost. In this permeable state, you also start to feel how the world keeps reaching out to you. That reaching, that, to me, is hope. It is the world reminding me that I am a part of it, and it is a part of me. So this is the answer to my question. Hope doesn't come from within me, and it exists independent of any outcome. It is in the letting go and the carrying on. My mother wrote a haiku, only one line of which I can now remember. Death gives rise to wings. What I think she was talking about is the way that letting go allows us to rise to meet the present. This is the moment that will see us through, not all the ones that came before or any possibility of one to come. My mother was pretty sinewy too. Sometimes the present moment is a hard one. As I complete this work, things that we hoped for and even saw manifest are being taken away. Bodily autonomy, trans and queer rights, affirmative action. I will continue to hope that we will find our way, not in spite of the grief I feel, but with it.
Beautiful. Really, really, really beautiful.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, do you mind if I ask
Those
you?
are my mother's hands. Those are my mother's hands right there. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Powerful. Well, would you mind if I ask you a few questions?
Please, please.
Creating successful diptychs is hard just by their nature. They can imply something. Let me start that over again. I can't gotta learn to read what I write.
Uh,
Creating successful diptychs is hard just by their nature. They can imply something: duality, comparison, tension, etc. Was this part of your thinking when making them?
so I've been drawn to diptychs and triptychs, oh my gosh, for the longest time. And I'm also coming at them from the perspective of being an artist who works in a variety of media. So one of the things that I have done a lot as an artist is collage. And that's actually how I see this work. They come in the format of diptychs and triptychs, but it's really, for me, about looking at the pieces that are in front of me and or searching for the pieces that communicate what's coming through me, and finding their mates in a way that create a whole picture. So the tension that you're talking about, it doesn't feel like tension to me. When I'm done with an image, it feels like there's a flow through it and a wholeness to it that didn't exist when these 2 or 3 images were alone.
Wow. That absolutely makes
That's my
yeah,
that's my grandpa's field. Yeah.
very cool. It appears you choose to speak to your real upbringing and grief with the images and not make an overt statement of your queerness and the state of social issues in this country, as in your statement, or did you?
I love this question. I love all your questions.
Thank you.
I so my queerness is a part of everything I do. And the grief and the hope that I was wrestling with, or that fundamental question that I was wrestling with, was coming to me not just because of the example that I gave about my body and about bearing a child, but it was very, very much informed by what was happening in our country and in my life and in my friends' lives and in my partner's life. And I was searching for an answer. I was not even an answer. I was searching for a way through. I was searching for meaning, for all of those reasons. So when I look at these images, as the maker of them, I see all of that embedded there, even if the actual literal image is of a old bridge over a river, like we're looking at right now, or a weed that's catching the wind, or of my grandmother's hand on a rusted pole. My queerness exists in all of that experience. Does that answer your
Oh,
question?
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. Well, could you tell us which image or images you feel best express your feelings on grief and hope?
Yeah. There, oh, so each of these images, the sequencing of these images is very intentional. I put a lot of thought into that, because they actually form the arc of the story that I told in words. It's a journey. So each image is a step along the way as I'm finding my way through this question, that honestly I'm still grappling with, right? It's not that I come to a concrete answer that I can just carry like a flag through the rest of my life, you know? It's an ongoing practice of grieving and of hoping. So there's no one image, it's all the images together and the sequence of them, that represent the different stages of my questioning and feeling, my way through.
So they're like various paragraphs in a short story, right?
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So any one might be carry more than another, but together they carry the whole of it.
Right, right. Got it. Beautiful. You're also a great writer. Why not use only words or paint or a pencil, etc., to express what you wanted to say with these images?
Uh, I appreciate the compliment. Um, Writing is something I care about a lot. I care about words and communication a lot. I work really hard at it, because it's really important. And um, but photography is my first love. Like, really, I remember being a little kid saving up my pennies because we didn't have much money for, saving up my allowance for those disposable cameras, right? That you could take a few shots with and then stick the thing in the mail and send it off and see what you got, right?
Right.
And so there, for me, there is a dance between words and images, and I feel like I can express more through express more in that dance between the words and the images, than one alone.
Well said.
And this particular image that we're looking at right now is a piece of my mother's calligraphy. She was a really wonderful, creative woman, and didn't have a lot of opportunities to live into that. So there are very few pieces of her work left. and or examples of that. But this is one of them. And I wrestled, actually, this was the first piece that I made in this series. And I wrestled with leaving it in there. I took it out and put it back, took it out, put it back many times. Ultimately, I put it in, and it's the last in the series, and it's entitled Hope. And I do that to honor my mother and her experiences. I do that because the beautiful haiku, the beautiful words here, it's describing mosquitoes. It's like, it's the most irritating thing, especially if you grow up in the Midwest, right? And honestly, there's points where hope is a bit like, like,
Yeah.
it won't let you go. Thank goodness. But also, I don't know. So there was something about all of that that felt really important to leave in the body of work.
Absolutely, and it finishes it off really nicely.
It
Yeah,
does.
and to having grown up on the Gulf Coast,
Oh,
anybody
yeah.
that refers to the sound that a mosquito makes as music
It means run.
is my
Yeah.
hero. That's my hero.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well,
So,
it's all really wonderful. Is there anything else you'd like to say about the word?
oh, really, I want to thank you both for giving me this opportunity and for the work you do, supporting artists and getting art out into the world. It's so important in general, and this is so important to me. It's just really a pleasure to talk with you.
Well, thank you for allowing us to do it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Ah,
Beautiful
Yeah.
work. And hearing you
Thank you.
talk about it is even
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
fabulous.
Yeah. You have a gift with words
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you.
and images.
Yeah.
Thank you much.
Well,
Thank
Megan, thank you very much again. And we
Yeah.
really appreciate you supporting the gallery.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. You all take care.
You
Yeah,
too.
thank you so much.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
stop.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.